Hello friends, we're continuing to the second clip and questions.
We're talking about the notions, yes. Nick from London, why is it called a Partzuf? Who named the Partzuf in this way?
Nick, I'm sorry I don't know, we haven't spoken yet about Partzuf. When we will speak, we will say something about it. No, I don't know. I only know about maybe Stirot. Not so. Let's continue to the next. Ramona from Germany. What is the meaning of idol worship?
Yeah, we spoke about it in the last lesson, and really this came right in the beginning of the text.
So we answered?
No.
No. So idol worship, Ramona, I think that we answered it. Also in the clips that we did with Alex. Alex Stetter was here, we did some clips.
Okay.
But let's mention it in one sentence. Everything that I see and attribute to all of the forces, people, myself, a part of the Boré, is idol worshipping. The fact that I don't see one and only force, and I don't try to attribute. Of course I don't see, but as long as I'm not trying to attribute everything that I see to this one and only force, there's none else besides him, that means that I'm in this transgression of idol worshipping. Now, it's not that some lightning will come from the sky on my head and will burn me from this transgression, but I need to know that I'm in this state, and I want to direct myself into perceiving the one and only force, to see that the whole reality, this whole theater, is one and only force. That's it.
Yeah, this is I have to add one sentence because this is a very powerful idea from the first article from Shamati. Really one of the most powerful ideas that the book starts with, because really we tend so often to think about other people in our lives or things in our lives that have a huge influence or a huge impact. We tend to be very angry about the boss at work or about whoever, about the teacher in school, in the school of my kids or whatever. And you have to just be careful. It's not the thing, the thought before, but when you notice that about yourself, in the first step, just notice and be aware that what I'm doing right now is idol worship, because I forget that it all comes from the Creator. And it's actually a very fun everyday exercise to do that. Okay, next question for John from the UK. What does it mean he is good and benevolent? There are many wars in the world right now.
Yes, I don't see. I agree with you, John. Even worse, or not wars, massacres that we can see. Yesterday, we had our guest, Alex Stetter from Germany. 2 times missiles are flying. I could have seen them before entering the shelter with my kids. You know, missiles on my head, and I think the Creator is good. Look what he's doing. And in Gaza, what he's doing, and in Iraq, and in all of the world. People are dying from hunger, from diseases with this Ebola now, you know. And look at the history. This is the good and benevolent. This is, I don't want to use bad words because, you know, we're official, but this is the Creator, this is the world. So there are 2 ways. One is the way that we know to say that, okay, we did something bad. If we will do something good, he will change, right? He will change our faith, no wars. So I will push a button. Okay, we will be nice between one another, and then something will change. Or I will pray, please stop the war. Please stop the war. Please stop the war. But we see along all of these thousands of years that not only it's not stopping, it's becoming worse, as we can see in this world. Until, like Bala Sulam is writing, the 3rd or 4th atomic war, and then he's writing, Bala Sulam, that then a bunch of people will, only a few people really, maybe thousands, they will do the correction between them, and all of the souls will be included within them. We need to understand, as we said many times, and you see, we forget, because we don't have the environment to remind us. We said that the only one who needs to change is me, because I see and perceive the whole reality of the boy through the shattering of our connections. I see everything through my ego in this small box. And this small box shows me the actions of the light on the vessel through tremendous sights. And my purpose in life is to correct myself, and through the correction, through the connection between me and my fellow students or the friends, through this I'm creating this lens, this unshattered, this amended lens through which I begin to see reality. And I begin to see really it changes, you know. I begin to see that everything which is going on, I begin to see that the creator is, there's one force who's operating this whole theater. And that it's good, that does good. I really see that it's good. And I don't see, you know, wars or things. I see that one force is operating on the vessel in order to correct, to connect between all of the parts. And this is what all of the parts are asking us to do. Each and every person on earth, starting from the cow who is, how do you say it in English? Moo, boo. In Israel we say moo.
Does move.
Yeah, it does moo. And until John, that is writing the question or is feeling
And
something.
it's not in the Facebook.
She said it. All of the creatures want one thing, the light to fulfill us in the corrected way. And anything else that we are seeing is because we're not corrected. And this is why we feel suffering. The moment we will correct ourselves and correct the others, we will see a total different reality. To tell you the truth, we will see two realities because we will be included in our reality, the spiritual reality, and the second reality is of the rest of the parts of the soul which were not yet corrected. So we will see also their suffering, how they perceive reality, and our reality, and also according to this we will need to justify the Boed. To justify means that we need to see in whatever things that is giving us, that is the good that does good. Really to attain this, not just to say it.
Yeah, it's really very hard. As Moshe is talking, I was thinking that it's really one of the hardest parts is to understand all the suffering in the world, and it will be even harder the more you study Kabbalah, because on one side you're learning all these things and you understand it from very deep within. You understand that this is true, but on the other side, because you're connecting with other people, you perceive their suffering much more. And I think that it's when you spoke, I remembered I just had a case on Saturday when I had a fight with my oldest son who was 8, and when he was talking to me, I remembered myself very sharply in his age, and I felt so bad for him. Really, it's such a terrible situation, to be old enough to understand everything, but not old enough to decide on your life, basically. And there was one specific question, and it's always something else, and you are then as a mother torn apart between the very clear understanding of the child, of his suffering, but you also know your position, and you know that you mean only good to him. You only want him to be in a good position. And this is the two realities that Moshe is speaking about. You feel the child, but you also are the parent. You can feel both.
And just to leave you, we have one more minute.
We have 1 more minute for the
But
last.
just to leave you very puzzled, John, think of a Kabbalist whose name was Rabbi Akiva. He was the teacher of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar, which means he was in a higher level. At the end of these days, like the Romans were torturing him, they were stripping his skin off. And he was shouting, last words he was shouting, it's called, Hear Israel, God is one, the God is our Lord, the God is one. That means that he was, in the last moments, he was justifying the voice, seeing only good that does good, even though he was stripped from his skin. So, just something to think about. How can these two things coexist?
Yes. Just don't switch between the simple fanatism that we know today from many wars, and really the deep understanding of those words. It's really something that we will probably talk about later on.
And if you will be finished to be puzzled, So for the question that you asked, John, what does Ein Sof mean? Ein Sof mean, like, it would mean infinite, but it's not infinite as we imagine, no boundaries. No, Ein Sof means, Sof in Hebrew means end or a boundary, and in the state, in the initial state of the purpose of the thought of the creation, the will to receive is not limiting or not putting any boundaries on its receiving. Okay, so he's receiving and the whole light, and that's it, without any limit that I want to receive it only if I can be similar to the Creator. No, I'm just receiving. This is the meaning of Ein Sof. Of course, at the end of correction, there will be another meaning of Ein Sof, that there are no boundaries to the adhesion with the Creator. This will have another meaning. So,
See you there.
yes.